Three, two, one.
Hello, it's Reverend Grenetta Mason, Reverend G. We're here tonight to have spiritual conversations. And I have a special guest tonight that I'd like to introduce you guys to. Serina Rema the Great. I met Rema at Momentum when we were doing a training at Momentum, and we had such a powerful experience together there that when we left, we realized that we were both comedians. So Rema kind of took me under her arms and said, "You're a comedian? Come on up to Harlem." So she took me up to Harlem Nights and introduced me to people. And that was the beginning of our little comedy thing together. And Rema has since then written a book, and she has so much to share tonight. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to have Rema introduce herself to you guys.
Thank you, Grenetta. Reverend G, shout out to you, first of all. I'm so proud of you and your show. I'm so proud of what you got going on. I'm so obliged to be here. I'm happy to be here. I thank you for having me today. So to everyone that's watching, my name is Serina Harvell, also known as Rema the Great. And if you've watched me over this last 6 months, I went from Radio Rema to Rated Rema, the comedian. So as we went through Corona, I turned to say, you know what, I'll just be Rema the Great and do what I do. So what do I do? There's a long list of things that I do. So let's talk about the things that I don't do because it's shorter, right? I'm gonna tell you a little bit. I am a comedian. I am an author. I am a mom. I am a Renaissance woman. I am a business consultant. I am a website developer. I am an audio engineer. I am a radio station advisor. I am
everything. The list goes on and on. I knew that.
I am the resource that you need. Put it like that. I am what you need in your life. If you haven't gotten you some Rema, then you need to call me up and we can figure out what you need that I can help you with, because I am a bowl of resources. But all of us are. We just don't know it yet. That's it. I just tapped into all my resources and figured out who I am by doing such. So I'm just dope. Oh, and I'm also a community leader. I gotta add that one in there.
Right. So since we are here and we're talking about having spiritual conversations and how spirituality relates in everybody's life, I want you to take us on a little journey, right? And this little journey will be from, how you got to this book now. And you could start in the middle and the back, because you have done so many things that I know that you could talk about what inspired you to do the book, what inspired the title. You could give us some information on your spiritual journey.
So I guess like many people, I've been afforded an understanding that's beyond myself. I've been manifesting things for years, and thanks to Facebook memories, I get to look back at myself, talk about the time today. So I've spoken this into existence and not even realized it, but it was something. So I'm going to say this. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. The thoughts, the muse that's in my head, it's God. It's not me. For me to have a thought to manifest anything, it's not me. So if I back then, 8 years ago, was sitting and saying, you know what, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. And what we think is that we're manifesting it. Like a lot of people that believe in the universe believes that you're manifesting it. But what was the muse? What made you think about that? What happened to you to make you think about that? So for me, I had a large plan in life, right? Like I was like, yo, I'm gonna be and this is funny because it's coming now, but let's talk about 2012-ish. Okay. I was like, you know what? I'm going to graduate. I'm gonna get my PhD. I'm gonna have my houses, my $2 million. All I want to do is be interviewed by Oprah. Like I had like a whole list of stuff, right? But some of the stuff that I like tuned into, like, about going to school and things of that nature, I also said when I make like 50 years old or something, I was going to be a right, when I get older, I was going to be a councilwoman. And in the field that I'm in now, I see that being more of a possibility than anything else. So I'll go back. My story don't start just recent. My story don't start last year. My story starts in the womb, just like everybody else's. My life was already destined to go through the things that I've gone through, and it wasn't my choice or decision. And just like everybody else that's listening right now, none of this stuff that's happening to you is your choice or decision. This is purpose in your life. If you are meant to do something, it's going to happen. If something's meant to be yours, it will be yours. As a matter of fact, even the things that you don't want is yours because of how you calling it onto yourself. So for me, I've been calling on to a lot of understanding. I've been calling on to a lot of strength. I've been calling on communication, education. I've been calling on to a lot of failure. And I'll explain that. And I say, I want to fall. I want to try everything and let me fall. Let me fall. Because I know now when I get up how to prevent the fall again. So I call on these experiences, and that's pretty much how I've been moving as of late. So I hope that was like.
So yeah, you said, let me fall. But have you always been in that space of understanding the relevance of
no,
you know what I'm saying? So
no.
talk about, like, so you're like,
let me tell you, I used to be a one-day dieter. Like, I hate dieting. I want to do it. I want to get myself together, but I hate it. But I also realized that if I stick to something, so I did a 10-day water liquid fast around the week of my birthday, which was really great. And I lost 20 pounds. And I was able to keep down 15 of them. And it feels good. It feels good to, be able to put my mind to something. When I was younger, I was searching for understanding that I didn't have. So I kept looking for it. And then incidences and situations would happen. What a lot of people don't know, prior to 2015, between 2007 and 2015, I was an adult entertainer. And I did a lot of adult modeling. I was an escort. I also was addicted to drugs and et cetera, et cetera. And in the midst of that, though, right? Like, I was still in school. I started school in 2014. I had been in internet radio since 2010. So even while I was doing one thing, I still had the other, which I wasn't paying attention to how I was learning everything. So being in the adult industry, I was able to learn about hustling and marketing and sales, because you got to learn how to sell, right?
Right.
You got to learn what competition really is. You got to learn how to build certain things. And a lot of times you want to do it by yourself. You don't want to pay for anything. So I learned how to build websites because of that, et cetera, et cetera. I learned how to build marketing, ads. And then I did radio. So in 2014, at the end of the year, I was afforded an opportunity to do a co-host position at an internet radio station out here in New York. And I did the co-host position, and eventually I didn't like the show. I just wanted to be on radio. Like, I just wanted to be heard, right? And then I told him, I said, listen, we had an engineer that left. And I was like, yo, teach me how to engineer so I can help you. Just teach it to me. So every day for like 5 days a week for the whole summer of 2015, I learned how to engineer. So I became an audio engineer. And by September of that year, I was able to open and close the door. So I had keys to a radio station studio on 42nd Street, Times Square in New York. So
a lot. All of that, it's really interesting. So what would you say, as I get the part where you said that, you learned a lot, you have all these skills, right? What underlying things, or was there any spiritual base in there, or any lessons? Something I heard you say was something about consistency earlier, but throughout this time, where was your spirituality? Were you aware of it, or were you just rolling through knowing that life was happening?
My relationship with God was different than it is now. Now it's personal. Before it was, I knew he existed and I didn't really, or it existed and I really wasn't connecting the dots. It took me losing my son in the end of the year of 2015 for me to just like, this is personal. I felt that it was personal. I felt that it was a personal connection from God to me, because my son, he passed in my arms from an asthma attack a week before his 13th birthday. And it was hard. And I got to a place where I started talking to God, just like I'm talking to you right now. Right after he passed, I was like, God, you don't want me to go back. I had a phone bill, and I'm going to tell you what happened. And I started, sometimes we run from what we know and we just keep running. So I ran after I found out that God is real, right? Like, bro, so I had a bill that came in December of that year. My son passed in November. The bill came in December. Now, at the time, I would make just enough to pay the bill in half. So I had a half and a full bill to pay. The bill was $726, if I'm not mistaken. And then the due of what I had to pay was 500 and something, right? And it said, we're turning your bill off. I got the bill in like the 16th of December. It said, we're disconnecting your service on the 23rd of December. Now, for those that don't or never had their stuff disconnected, it works weird. So they cut off the cable and then the internet goes off like 3 days later. That's what happens. In this incident, the cable went off. The internet went off first. The cable was still on. And then I was on my iPad or something that was connected to the Wi-Fi, and it came on the 24th. Now on the 23rd, the internet turned off. The 24th, it turned on. And then when it turned on, I was like, wait a minute, don't nobody have my password? There's nobody else that can take and pay a bill, nothing, right? So I look, and it's 3 emails back to back. The first 2 says, we're disconnecting your service. The last one says, we're reconnecting your service. Then on the 26th, I received a bill. The bill was one sheet, a folded thin sheet. The bill said, you're due, you got to pay $500 and change by January 3rd, 2016. So I was like, can't nobody else but God do that? Even if it was a mistake, it can't nobody else. Like I said, point blank, I said, God, I'm going to tell you what, when I seen the bill on the 16th, I said, you going to take this bill. This your bill. This ain't my bill, because you don't want me to do what I was doing before this. So I want you to pay it. You're going to take care of it. And I got a whole 3 weeks spared just by saying it. So that's when it really kicked in that he was real. A little bit after that, I didn't have no food. In January, February, I was lacking food. And I didn't have a way to get any. Public assistance didn't open my case yet. My cousin was staying with me, all this stuff. All of a sudden, I said, God, you keep sending people to my house to eat, all these children, because they all stayed around me after he passed. And I was like, I need food in here. And I want food from the top to the bottom. Matter of fact, I want so much food since you so mighty. I want to have fruit flies. I left that apartment in August. When I left in August, we still had fruit flies. I was afforded about almost $800 in food stamps coming the next couple of months. I had a welfare case that was full with SNAP and cash, and then an additional food stamp case. It was the weirdest thing, but I knew it was purpose. You know what I mean? And then I ran from it, and that began a whole nother level of stuff.
Okay. So you feel like at different points, God was giving you a message, and each time you ran the other way?
I did.
You did?
I did.
And so now in writing this book, can you talk to us a little bit about, the book is like, what's up, God? What do you want? Right?
Right.
So in writing this book, what's the message? What do you want people to know? And I know you want to touch, move, and inspire them, but what message do you want people to get from the book?
Well, that's why I ask people when they read it, tell them what you think. I was very scared.
What was your intention, though? What was your intention? I know, right?
I didn't have any intention. I wrote the book, started writing the book last year, spring. And while I was writing the book, I was like, oh my God, I can't write this. I can't put this out. I can't. And I kept telling myself I can't. And then I realized that the book itself needs to come out because it's real and it's relative. The idea behind the book is a conversation that I did have with God. I ain't gonna lie. And I asked him, what's up? Because why am I going through all of this back and forth? Why am I having these situations happen to me? Why is this, what it is? Why can't I get out of this cycle? Or just asking him, stop what you're doing and ask him, like, what do you need from me? What do you want? What do you want? Mm-hmm. When my son passed, I asked God, what do you want then too? Like, nah, this is personal. This is something between me and you. What's going on? Like, what's up? And when I wrote the book, what I wanted to get in people's head is that this life is not personal. This life is not personal. Our emotions be so attached to the things that we go through, we forget to live in our purpose. There's life and death in everything. Everything that's on this earth right now that's living will die. As far as people go, you know what I'm saying? Roaches live forever. But, we're not going to be here forever. So that is just reality. But what is your purpose? Sometimes we get caught up with the situation. And that's one of my chapters in there in the book that I call the storm. We get caught up in the storm that we don't realize that it's going to get better soon. The storm will only stay around for a little bit of time. Refocus up. Sometimes we get lost and we have a mission. Every life has a mission. Don't get lost. Don't get lost in it. Just get up and be like, you know what? I want to change. I want to do something. I was having a live because, I go live a lot. And I was having a live and I was talking about being a philanthropist and how my husband, because I'm single, my husband should be, interested in being a philanthropist. And a guy came on and we were talking and he said, well, that means you got to have $1 million. Do you not understand that time is the most, the time is the biggest commodity you have? Time is the biggest thing that you can give somebody, and time is free. It costs you, but it's free. What can you do if you look left and look right to help somebody else? What is these talents if you can't give and share to somebody? We think about money a lot, but we don't think about what we're going to buy with the money. So I stopped telling people that I need to buy stuff, and I start telling them what I need them to give me so I can get it. So instead of saying, I want $300 to fix this website, I'm going to fix your website. Now, this is what I need in return. I need the item. Start asking for what you need so you can have it.
Got it.
So the book. The book
is funny because I read the book and then you start reading the book and there's homework. I'm like, homework? Who gives homework in a book? So this book with this homework, it's the homework supporting people to get to their purpose. I heard you talk about purpose. And we all have a purpose, right? So I'm wondering, is there a connection between this homework? Are you supporting people in getting to their purpose and sharing yours? And what's this homework thing? What was the purpose of homework?
So if you read the book, you're just reading the book. You may not even think too much about how it relates to you. But if you have a part where you can ask yourself the question like, are you really sure? Are you sure you want out of this situation? Hey, have you noticed the crowds that are around you? Why do you think you're attracting these people? Where it's a self-reflection. So it's homework because it's a self-reflection. We learned a lot of that. That's kind of a key of what I wanted people to take away in this first book. I do believe it's a series. I have another book, a couple of books that I'm contemplating on and just asking for guidance for. But yes, the homework part is very important for people to just stop, reflect on themselves and be like, you know what? I never thought about that. Or I never noticed that, because your purpose still needs to flourish through this. If you're around a bunch of people that are not doing anything and you can't figure out why you're around them, then maybe you should ask yourself, are you around people that are making you be productive, that are motivating you? And if not, then why not? Right. Do you want to be around people that make you, promote yourself? Like, what are you fighting against from being great? Your purpose in this world is to be great. And each body that's here, each body that will read this book, each body that listens to this right now have a purpose. Either you are meant to birth something or someone, or you have it in you to be great.
Well, thank you for that information on the book. Let's talk about what you're doing with your comedy these days, because you are so funny, right? And I wonder, what's new? What can we look for you coming up in comedy?
So I'll give you some background of my comedy. So first of all, my comedy is not for this crowd. My comedy is raw. But for those that don't know, I got my BA in psychology. So a lot of my comedy is like thinking comedy. So it makes you think, it makes you wonder, and then it makes you look at people funny. So a lot of my jokes, like I got a joke about a struggle beard and about how a guy, and the reason why he has a struggle beard is because the woman he's dealing with is struggling. So it's like, with comedy, I wanted to try something that, again, the muse was in my head. The voice was in my head that said, do comedy. Because where you're going, you're going to need to talk to people. And a lot of people ain't going to want to hear what you got to say. So do comedy, get used to being booed, get used to being ridiculed, get used to being laughed at or laughed with, get used to talking to an audience in public. So when I used to host events, because they used to pay for me to go out to like different places to host events, I was funny on the stage all the time, but I was partially nude. Like I didn't have no clothes on. So speaking in front of a crowd, it's so weird. It's backwards. Speaking in front of a crowd with my clothes on is so hard for me versus doing it the other way around because I'm used to that platform. But now I'm making people laugh like they're listening into me. So it's like, what do? I bring that energy. That's what I'm supposed to do. And that's how I make it work. But as far as what I'm doing now, I have a show that I'm booked for in Arkansas. I think I was mentioning that to you not too long ago, for August. But I haven't done any virtual shows. I'm going to explain why in a second. I haven't done any virtual shows. I used to host my own open mic right before quarantine hit. I don't want to do a virtual show because I talk a lot. Like I already have funny on my live. I go live like every other night and I talk a lot. And I make a lot of jokes, puns, thoughts, things of that nature. And you mean to tell me I got to go inside of a room with whoever's watching and tell jokes from sitting down like I'm already doing now? It just didn't make sense for me to do. Not that a lot of people that do comedy don't do live. They don't go live. They don't have personality behind them. I have personality, so I'm already doing virtual stuff. Why would I go back to virtual stuff? It didn't make sense to me. So once everything start opening up a little bit more, will I be in the comedy crowd or will I be in motivational seminar crowds? Who knows? I'm gonna throw that out there.
Okay, you said also, I was wondering, could you talk to us about maybe what tools do you have in your spiritual toolkit?
I allow myself to be open to all vibes, all connection. If I feel some kind of way, if something remind me of something, I'll call on it. If I'm watching something and it reminds me of something, I take a moment to think about it. I do a lot of reflecting when I'm feeling a mode, when I'm feeling some kind of way. So I allow my spirituality to be open to all kind of triggers, if that makes sense, like positive triggers. So when it comes to my son, I'll see he was a little light-skinned boy with light brown eyes and his sandy brown hair. So if I see somebody that's light-skinned with sandy brown hair, his same face shape, I just stop in a second. I look at him and I smile and I say, hi, Sean. And I allow myself to be open in those moments versus sometimes it can be overwhelming and I will cry, but I allow myself to cry in that moment too. And sometimes God do stuff that just makes me feel like I want to cry. And not in a bad way, like really good stuff. I had like if somebody gives me a present that I wasn't expecting, or somebody give me a phone call, or somebody show me love in a certain kind of way, it's like, oh my God, I was thought about. So thank you. And then I'll get like in the moment of that. But I take that feeling and I push it out. So it's like Black Panther. For those that's watched the Black Panther movie, you remember when he had the suit on and he would get all these hits and beat up on, and it'd create all this energy, and then he'll push it out for a big thunderstorm. So for me, I take in a lot of the energy, the good feelings, the good vibes, and not everything is always great because life is life, right? But I take in the good and I push out the good. I don't look for nothing. I put an investment in. If I give somebody something, I give compliments. I give what I can. If I can share something, I have a large following. If I can share it, I'm gonna share it on everything. And for free for most part, because we just need to be in support of each other. We're not in this world alone. And a lot of times we do a lot of things alone and we fail. We need to be together. We need to use resources of each other, interlock like Legos. That might be a chapter, the next book.
Were you ever a church person? Did you ever go to church or involved in a church community? Or were you always on we always talk about spirituality. When I ask you about the toolkit, you went to energy, which makes me think of living vibrations, and dealing with people on a vibrational level. What was your experience with church or religion?
So, of course, I've dealt with church.
You said everybody went to church.
I was going to say that. Everybody. All right. So about maybe 5 years ago, I had seen a picture of me being a little girl in the front of the church with a microphone, and nostalgia hit. And I realized that I used to love to go to church when I was little, just so I could get on the microphone. And right, just the same. And I was like, yo, I've been in love with the microphone all my life. When it comes to the church part, I've been in love with the idea of church for a long time because my grandmother had us in the church. We would sleep, little kids always napping and stuff, but we were taking in information even while we weren't there, right? As I got older, I went to Yogi Bear Church as a teenager, as a young adult, a young teenager, a preteen. I went to Yogi Bear Church. And then as I got older, and church became a choice, I didn't just jump into church. I think I had went and gave myself to God in 2010 or something like that. Like it was either 2009 or something like that. I went to a church and I did. And that church was my kids' grandparents' church out here in Harlem. Last year was, I went to the church often, but the last 2 years I was really frequent. These last 2 years, well, not this last year, but between 17 and 18, I frequent the church a lot. Last spring, I stopped going to church. I made a personal choice. I wanted to just take a break, take a minute. I was in a lot of different, groups that was of the church, and it was nice and everything, but I wanted to do more. I wanted to see more. I wanted to say more, and I wanted to be more involved outside of just the church. And I felt like I was just being stuck in one place. Like I was at the radio station before I left. I just felt stuck, and I don't like feeling stuck. So I was like, nah, this light got to shine somewhere else. What else are we doing? So over the last year, last 6 months, actually, I started dealing with my community itself. So I live in the development in Harlem, and I started dealing with my development hands-on, and I realized I have a voice.
Okay.
I didn't know I had a voice. I had an idea, I had an idea about Past the Passion Project. I was going real full blast with it. And then I told it to the right person, the right ear. And my program got $30,000. It was awarded $30,000. It should have started already, but because of COVID, it had to be taken on a pause. But then I was like, why stop there? Then I went to run for tenant association president right before COVID. And I almost would have had it, but the person won by default. And then I thought, dang, I really wanted that position. And then I decided, why not act the position? So I'm still involved in my community. I feed the seniors every 3 times a week. We go out, we feed the seniors. I'm also involved in the Mayor Action Plan program that's here in development. So we just recently did a 30-hour OSHA virtual training that was free. And, we talked about this. And I will say we got 80 people signed when we only had an expectation of 55.
Okay.
And we had, I think, over 300 people respond. So it's like, yeah, I feel good. So
yeah, I remember you were saying that you were going to talk about everything that you were doing in the community, and also what was happening with you right now. And I thought it was going to lead from community to this big new project you're in, because you've been doing so many things, right? What's this big new surprise project? You ready to reveal?
Nope, I'm gonna reveal it in the last 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay.
We got 20 minutes now.
You
So what I'm going to say
All right.
is I'm going to talk about what I am currently doing, though. I will discuss that.
Okay.
Currently,
what are you currently doing?
I want to feed every part of me. I want to feed myself. I want to feed my soul. I want to feed my mind. I want to feed my passion. So when I think about stuff, what am I in love with? I'm in love with being a personality. So being a personality, what do that afford me? What am I able to do? And am I able to give back in that way? So for people that don't know, I have like 13,000 followers on Instagram. I used to have 78,000. I know how to build pages, right, on social media. And I currently have 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I know I can take somebody to a nice place. But Facebook, I've been lacked on Facebook for a while. And since COVID, I've done nothing but network. I have about maybe 1,500 new people. And I decided, who are you? Who are you? Matter of fact, who are you and how can we network? Because obviously something brought you to my page. So what can we do? So I started networking with people. At one point, I had a whole week go by that I would say, this is my new Facebook friend shout out or spotlight. And I would like talk about their product, share something from their page. And people are like, oh my God, thank you. It's free. It's free. Share. It's free, right? So about a month ago, I started something called Rema and Facebook Friends Music Review. So I tell artists to like send me their music, and I don't review it by myself. I review it with honest people on Facebook. I know how to interact with people. So I utilize the talents that I have to do something creative that's innovative, and it also gives a service back. So I've been doing that for about a month now. My last show, which was last night, I had got 1,600 people to view it, about 418 comments. And that was last night. Today we're at 2.8 views. So I'm able to get people the numbers that they need because I know how to do it. In the midst of me doing that feeds my personality. So I can talk and do what I want to do and be crazy, right? And get it out my system and also be productive. When it comes to my soul, and what I'm feeding my soul is vibrations, good people, good thoughts. Assisting other people with their thoughts as well. Why is that important? I ask a lot of people stuff like that. Like, why is that important? Have you did your research on it? Are you Googling? Are you not Googling? Why are you asking me? How am I supposed to help you? How can I help you? What else is, so I am in the field of therapy. So,
in the field of therapy?
In the field of therapy. I got my BA in psychology.
I'm tapped in the field of therapy. Okay, you're in the field of everything, Rema. So, okay, great. You're in the field of therapy?
I'm in the field of therapy, so I utilize the things that I know to allow people to actually think about what they're saying, think about why the situation is happening the way it is. Give forgiveness in places sometimes where you're not going to hear somebody say sorry. So if somebody is in my ear and they're just yapping, my mother told me one day, and this changed my whole life. I was complaining about one of my baby fathers, and she was like, are you going to be with him tomorrow? I said, can I just talk, right? And she was like, you going to be with him tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, I'll be with him tomorrow. She said to shut up. So when I hear people like complain about stuff, I kind of use the same rule of thumb, but I fix it a little bit and I ask them, why does that matter? Does that help your situation? And you thinking about it or stressing it, is it going to bring anything back? Oh, this person stole this from me. Are you going to get it back? Are you going to work hard to get it or not? Oh, this person took money from me, so you never had money again after that. Are you not able to eat? Like sometimes you got to just let stuff go. It happened for a reason. You had to learn that lesson for whatever it was. If it was for you to not deal with the person anymore, if it was for you to be careful where you put your things, whatever it was, there was a lesson in it. So instead of being upset at the situation, learn the lesson, move forward.
I was listening to you and I wondered about, what do you think your contribution is? You have so many talents and many things that you do. What would you say would be one of your biggest contributions?
Knowledge.
Knowledge?
Knowledge. Knowledge and perspective, and also understand. So the reason why I say those things are a contribution is because I understand in a way that people don't. Everybody's running after the money. Nobody's running after the talent. So it's like, how can I put? I have knowledge of what I'm able and capable of doing. Clear knowledge. I know the power of me being a woman. I know the power of me being a Black woman. I know the power of me being a Black entrepreneur woman. I know the power behind it. But I also know how to utilize it to assist others versus use it for selfish reasons. There's a lot of people out here that are selfish with their talents. They're selfish with the knowledge they have. You know, once you're gone, nobody's going to know anything that you're thinking. So my gift to the world is knowledge, is to educate and edutain as much as possible. So any chance I get that I can tell somebody from my perspective how to either holler at a girl like myself or how to actually give back to the situation that's around you, it's education. So we should be educating each other, but people like to hold things. So let's say I knew how to write a business plan and you were in need of a business plan. You'll go, Rema, Dane, I really want to learn how to write a business plan. I tell you like this, then come to me and then we'll work on a budget later. Like, let's get you where you need to go. Because if you get the business plan going, right, and you get all of the money and all of that stuff, right, I was there to start. And if you decide not to give back to me, what I learned was how to do it. So I learned how to do it, that it works. I worked in I'll say this. I worked for Fubu Radio, right? And I didn't realize who I was. And I'm sitting here giving advice. I'm sitting here building an organization. I'm sitting here doing all this stuff. And I ended up getting dismissed, not laid off, but dismissed 6 months later, or about 4 or 5 months later. And I got dismissed because I asked for a memorandum of understanding at a time where I was getting ready to like make a big deal. Now, prior to that, I just felt like, let me just show you what I can do. And prove my worth. I don't have to no more. What I feel about myself now is, yo, you was giving advice to millionaires. Like before, I didn't see it that way. Now I see it like, yo, you was giving advice to millionaires. Like, we got to recognize who we are, and especially when we doing things. So I didn't get paid for that then, but it pays off now because I know who I am. So I can teach that to other people. Who have you helped in the past? Don't you realize who you are and how important you are? Because you done helped this person and they're a millionaire, or you helped this person and look at where they are. Well, they didn't give me nothing. They wasn't supposed to. They gave you the experience so you can say it. I have had the experience to say I've helped a millionaire. How many people can say that? And directly, not indirect, not working at a food chain. I've worked at food chains, but not only working at food chain, but literally directly calling them, having their number, having meetings in the office of, like, that's important. I didn't pay attention to it then, but I pay attention to it now. Rema, the advisor to millionaires.
Right, the advisor to millionaires. So you're saying in retrospect, you after going through all that, it's made you who you are now, and you know how to sell yourself, or how to. I was thinking about something where you said that you'll do things for people and the money may not be there in that moment, but you know that it will come. And what came to mind for me was sometimes the reward is different. The reward for what you do for one person may not look the way you think. It can come in many other ways.
Absolutely.
Right, rather than from the direct way you think, well, if I have Grenetta, then Grenetta's going to help me. No, you have better than somebody else could help you, right?
I look at it like this. I plant the seed for my great grandchildren. The things that I'm doing now for whoever, the way I'm helping people, I ask God to give this back to my great grandchildren. What if one of my great grands is a senior and they're not able to get out the house to get food? I'm hoping that somebody would love them enough to bring their food to their door, the same way I'm loving up on these seniors. You know, I encounter a lot of people that might have had hardship, and I feel like my assistance to you is only paying forward for my generations to come. We think about generational wealth in a way of, I need to have it now so that I can have it visible. But it's not about that. Pay it forward now. We can't think about what's going to happen yesterday. I can't think about what my grandmother didn't do. I can't think about what my mama didn't do. I got to think about what I'm doing so I can set forth a wave, a butterfly effect, I guess, for my great grandchildren to come. My children even, you know, let's say one of my children are homeless. Let's say they're in a different city. I wish for God to like cover them with all his like blessings and such and take care of them and bring them back home. We don't know what's going to happen with our children. We don't know what's going to happen with our great-great-grands. That's what pushes me today. I'm pushed to put as much work as I can out so my next few generations will be taken care of, and break the generational curses of the mindset that says I need to have finances right in order to leave that behind for my children. That's not what you need to do. You need to put your work in, your blood, sweat, and tears in. You need to understand that if you have a business, you should have enough for profit on the other side of it too. What is your give back? Because that's the only way you're going to get it. So I tell people, instead of asking, and this is something I say, instead of saying, I just need this phone bill paid, which a lot of people do, they get just what they ask for, just the phone bill. Nah, God, I need you to give me enough that I can pay 3 people phone bills. Mm-hmm. I need to be able to take care of other people, God. Don't just give me this just $80, $120. I need you to give me enough that I can take care of 2 or 3 more people you send in my way. Because you're going to send some people me. So when you send them to me, I want to be able to give them and take care of them too. So I'm not asking for just anymore. People got to stop asking for just. I just need a minute. I just need a break. I just need. No, you don't. What do you need? I need a vacation, God. What's up? Ask him just like, God, what's up? I would like a vacation. Can you find me a nice vacation, God? God, I need this phone bill paid. God, what's up? Don't ask for just. God, I want to help like all these people outside. They don't got no food, God. Can you make a way that I can make some sandwiches and feed these people? God, can you give me the strength to get up to go feed these people every day and not feel pressured or feel like I'm burdened by the service that you're giving me? Like, ask them for stuff. So I ask them all the time.
Yeah, what comes to mind? 2 things came to mind while you were talking. Expectations, right? When you're only asking for just, you're only going to get just because you get what you expect, right? So it's really about expanding your expectations because you get exactly what you expect. And the second thing that came to mind was around the law of attraction. So what are you attracting in your life, right?
Right.
Were 2 of the things that came to mind as you were speaking. I'm big on expectations. So what are you expecting? Because what you see is what you expected in your life. Whatever you get is exactly what you expected. And then with that, following like the law of attraction. And what does the law of how does that work in your life? And what is your understanding of the law of attraction?
Well, like most people, I read The Secret, right? A lot of people like to quote The Secret. However, there's a book that came after The Secret called The Real Key to the Secret, because a lot of people not the Master Key book.
Which one was that?
It's by one of the writers there, but I read it shortly after reading The Secret, and I read The Secret almost a decade ago.
Right, so a long time ago.
I'm gonna tell y'all what the law of attraction does for me. It's a belief system for me. So what I tell people is whatever you tell people you are, that's what they believe, and it makes it happen in your world even faster. So if you sit here and you tell somebody I'm broke, you speak it, right? So it's like, how does manifestation work and law of attraction work? Because you speak it, but that's not it. You not only speak it, you make other people believe it. So when they believe it, they take what they believe and they run with it and tell everybody else. So as everybody else is believing this thing, it becomes a real thing in your reality, in your realm. So now you're broke for real. And you can't find a way out of it. And you're trying to figure out, why am I always broke? Because the world believes that you're broke, and people's belief system attracts what they believe. So if I was to tell you, I'm a multi-millionaire right now, and I'm inside of my house, right? And because of how I say it and the vibrations I put out there, you're going to believe it. And not only are you going to believe it, but I'm going to tell everybody else. And as I tell everybody else what I am, who I am, and what I have, people believe it. And as they believe it, it becomes truer faster in your life. So the law of attraction don't just work with you. It's not what you think. It's what everyone thinks about you. It's another reflection outward. So I tell people about a story. I used to have a kitchen. I have a kitchen now, but I used to have a kitchen that was empty in this space. And the space had my refrigerator in it. And for a long time, anybody that came to my house, I'll point to that space and say, I'm going to have a microwave cabinet there. I'm going to have my washing machine here. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. And then every person that came believed it. And within like weeks, I got it. What do you tell people you got? How you tell people you're going to get it? Like, is what you're saying to people that keeps you in the situation you're in. You tired of your baby father getting on your nerves? Stop talking about him getting on your nerves. Stop talking positive about him. If you're tired about your job, stop talking about being tired of your job. Be better at your job. Be bestest at your job. The only way you're going to get a better job is if you get promoted. So be great at your job. Just because you don't like it. I hated my development. I hate looking outside. I even had a dream where I was crying to God, like, get me out of here. And then something happened and said, you can't leave until you do some things there. So I fell in love with my space. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with my seniors. I fell in love with the streets I walk on. I started just loving it a lot. And I started expanding myself to it. And as I did that, on one end, I was able to expand me and my peace on another end. And I didn't even realize it, that I was walking in a purpose of development around my law of attraction, my belief system. It's all about what you believe. So if you believe things are going to be messed up, things will be messed up. If you believe things is just a moment, it's just a moment. And remember, you don't take it personal. Make sure y'all buy the book, but don't take it personal because it's relative for you to be able to relate to someone else. It's a perspective thing.
A belief. You talked about beliefs, right? So beliefs, it's really interesting when you talk about beliefs because you say it's something that you believe, and how do we get to these beliefs, right? And I feel that sometimes we are taught certain things and then we turn them into a belief, right?
Absolutely.
And a belief is just a thought that you keep over and over and over and over and over again. And then it becomes
that you believe is true, that you think is true. It's a true fact
right,
in your life.
Yeah, for you, right? A thought that you keep over and over and over again. So with that in mind, beliefs can be changed, right?
Yes.
So then as we go through, we can continuously change our beliefs. And we were saying that we have this belief system that you attributed to the law of attraction.
Yep.
So you're saying that your beliefs with the thoughts that you keep over and over again, then will bring you what you want.
Absolutely.
That's kind of how you're putting it together.
Yeah. If we all thinking the same thing about the same thing, it's true. If the sky is blue and we all saying the sky's been blue your whole life, and somebody come out of nowhere and be like, the sky is not blue, it's red. And if everybody start believing that the sky is red, it might just turn red. Y'all don't, it's that powerful of a mind thing. And it might turn red like it turned turquoise not too long ago. Like, oh snap, that worked. Somebody probably was like, do you believe it's turquoise? But things happen where it shows our belief system is working in the right direction. The law of attraction is what you think about and what you pull to yourself. Which if you don't want it or you do want it, because we could talk about that, right? The things that you don't want, you get. The things that you do want, you get. The unfortunate part is that we were taught how to focus more on the things that we don't like. It's easy for me to tell you the things I don't like versus tell you what I really want. Because I think if I tell you what I really want, it might not come. That's a belief system. Somebody told me that not too long ago, and I'm going to give y'all an announcement in a second. Somebody told me that they didn't want to talk about something that they had wanted to do because they said, once you put it out there, it may not happen. And I'm like, we were taught so messed up and such a reverse that everything we're supposed to do, we're not doing, and we're not able to catch up to where we need to be because we keep sharing that nonsense, the thought of the negative. Don't speak about it or it won't come true. Somebody gonna steal your idea. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if somebody else takes an idea from me, good. If somebody takes an idea from you, good. You took too long to work on that idea and it should have been out there because it was given to you. And the same way it was given to you, it was given to a million other people. Who's the first one to act on it? You think you're the first one to have a talk show? You think you're the first one to have a radio show? You think you're the first one to create a book or write a book? You think you're the first one to do all this stuff? No. Why was this given to you? In the book, I mentioned a library. It has categories, right? And then some books have the same title, but it's different authors. Why? Because perspective is important. It's important. So what you're putting out there, you're gonna get back. So like I promised, my big announcement. So for those that do not know and don't know what I'm working on, I've created a platform that is multifaceted with multiple different entities from around the nation. So undercoverly and now above the world, I am working on a media platform with multiple people that have their own radio shows, TV shows, stations, people that are DJs, things of that nature, so that this way we can streamline our own media. So as I'm building content and I'm creating, and I'm also looking at having my own TV channel on Roku, Amazon, and I think Apple. I have a couple of deals in the air, and I also have a situation that's getting ready to come up with Netflix. So I just been busy, Nana. I've been busy. So with that being said, I will be creating opportunities for other people that would like to get their shows out there and on different platforms, just not one platform, but multi-platforms that's being largely promoted and marketed by some lovely guys that I know. So yeah, that is the secret. That's the big secret.
So you shows, television shows, like you
every kind of show, everything. So, I have all kind of different platforms for everybody. I'm looking for all content.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. What's the request? All
content. So Rated Entertainment, I started that over COVID as well. So Rated Entertainment was just my YouTube channel. And I have 3,000 subscribers. And I'm like, I want to share it and give playlists out to people, which I still do. And then a birdie put a thing in my ear. My brother, he had signed up for this TV startup thing. And I was like, oh, this is affordable. I'm going to try it. So he's allowing me to be on the back end of it. So I'm like, oh, this is nice. So I decided to talk to a couple of people that I've been networking with since Facebook has taken over my life. And I was like, listen, what do you think about, putting this together? Matter of fact, what is it that you have? How can I be of a resource to you? How can I help you? You know what? I got a couple of people. Let's just put this together. Hey, are you interested in doing a conglomerate with me? Yes, I am. Now, mind you, I don't have nothing exciting outside of myself, right? To offer anybody. But everybody's like, yo, let's do it. You know why? Because I'm excited.
So I'm the energy that you're bringing to it, right? You're just bringing yourself and your energy.
Right.
Okay.
And this is what people need to understand. It's not about the money. Don't think money. Think the product. Think what it is. Once you start thinking about what it is, you'll be able to put it out without even a second thought. I need money for marketing. Nope, I need marketing. What kind of marketing do you want? List it down. And then somebody gonna come up to you, and I'm gonna tell you it's gonna work like this. Somebody come up to you and be like, hey, how can I support you? And you're like, you know what? I need marketing. Can you help me pay for my marketing this month? You know what? I sure can. I've had people who contact me and was like, what can I do for you? I don't know. Someone told me to talk to you, Rema. What can I do for you? And I'm like, oh, snap. It does come back. Just don't think about the money. Think about the product. Think about the vision of what it is, what it looks like, and be specific. Because if you're not specific, you will get something like it, but not like it.
So you're saying set the intention, then visualize exactly what it is that you want and write it down too. You're saying all that, right?
All of it. And then talk about it.
And talk about it.
Talk about it. Because if you talk about it, you're going to be held accountable. And
right.
people
You
don't
know,
like to be
but
held
when you
accountable.
say talk about it, a lot of people don't want to talk about it in an instance because it's really who you surround yourself with. So if you talk about it and you get negativity, then that keeps people down and keep them from going forward. So sometimes it's not, it's how and who you talk about it to also.
Here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of everything. That's a part of everything. You got to know what your circle looks like, but you got to look at yourself and see if you're strong enough for that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that tell me, well, you shouldn't change your name and you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't have did that and you should have stick to this. And I look at them and I be like, and not a lot of people got that attitude, but I do, because I understand what my purpose is. So understand what your purpose is and just stick to your guns. Can't nobody feed you if you ain't feeding yourself.
Mm.
So just, go for yours. If somebody talks negative about the idea you have, ask yourself, is this somebody I really want to be under? Again, reflect on everything. And if you have negative people around you, you can tell if they're negative because they never want to hear you. They never want to hear you talk about your stuff. They always want to talk about their stuff to you. You're their problem solver. I had somebody, and real quick before I go, somebody told me, they said, you sometimes have friends and clients. Some of your friends are clients. Some people that you're just there to help and listen to them, and that's it. Other people are your friends. And it wasn't until recently that I understood the difference of the two. So I want to pass that word.
So how can we get your book and follow you and be in touch with these new projects that's coming up? Because you're offering a lot. And people might want to know how to get in touch with you.
Yes, ma'am. So your best bet is to contact me on Facebook, Serina Harvell. If you do hit me on Instagram, it's at I am Rema the Great on Instagram. In order to get the book, I think I'm going to hold out with promoting Amazon for a while. So you could just buy it directly from me if you have Cash App and PayPal. The book is $9.99. So you could just reach out to me at Rema Harvell at Gmail. That's REMAHARV as in Van ELL at gmail.com. That's how you can contact me.
So great. What's that book called? What's up, God?
What's up, God? What do you want? Your life is perfectly messed up on purpose.
Great. So it was great having you here, Rema. And we're going to follow you and see what's going on, because so much has gone on before. I'm sure a lot more is in store for later. So thank you for conversations with Reverend G. And I'll be back next week for everybody that's listening. Come back again and have fun, meet my new guests, and we'll be here next Monday at 8 p.m. Conversations with Reverend G. See you guys later. Bye.